Hi everyone, my name is Isabella Sislawati. I'm an Excel and Power BI enthusiast with decades of business experience. I publish weekly video tutorials on YouTube showing how we can leverage Excel and Power BI to work smarter and not harder. This week's video is created with two purposes in mind. Firstly, to show you how to create simple P&L report in Power BI with this year and last year's comparison. And secondly, as a follow-up on last week's video about the DAX calculate function, I'd like to showcase how we can apply calculate functions to create various measures which will be super useful for our P&L report. If you haven't seen my calculate video from last week, and if at any time in this video you're finding yourself feeling confused, please take a moment to pause and invest the time to understand the calculate function, as it will make your Power BI learning journey so much easier. I will leave the link of my previous week's video in the description below. Alright, let's get started by showing you several examples of P&L reports in Power BI. If you're used to looking at P&L report in Excel, you may be tempted to want to create a traditional looking P&L report like this or like this. I personally think that they are a bit boring. And today I'd like to show you an alternative. Something that looks more exciting, like this, or this. A P&L report that harnesses the power of data visualization in Power BI. Let's have a closer look. We have three tables on the left: P&L by GL group, P&L by cost center, and P&L by GL line. Comparing this year versus last year with year-on-year variance in absolute dollar term as well as percentage variances. Nicely color-coded so that unfavorable variances are colored in red. And in the middle, we have vertical bar chart showing benchmarking of regional performance, or something that we call state in Australia, so we can visualize which states are bringing more money. We then have two profit waterfalls showing year-on-year P&L movement by cost center or cities as well as by GL lines. This waterfall will be super handy in answering frequently asked questions around why did my profit go down year-on-year? As you can see in the waterfall, the profit reduction are happening across multiple cost centers such as Newcastle, Sydney, and others, with the exception of Launceston, Bendigo, and Melbourne. You can also see by GL lines that the key driver of year-on-year profit reduction are not lower sales, but increases in various expenses. And on the right, we have year-on-year trend analysis in the form of sales, profit, and percentage of sales. These trend charts will help our users to quickly spot emerging trend or something unusual which may warrant further investigations. So how can we create something like this? There are three fundamental steps that we need to go through. Step 1, get the data model set up correctly. Step 2, get the DAX measure set up correctly. And step 3, create the reports, table, and charts. Let's get started with step 1 to get the data model set up correctly. We need at least 3-dimension tables, cost center, GL, and date. And we need at least one fact table, actuals. Set it up so that we have one-to-many relationship between the dimension tables and the fact table. It is very important to structure the fact table correctly. So let's look at that together. Hit data and click actuals, which is our fact table. And you can see we have 4 columns: date, GL number, cost center number, and value. It is very important to have the value or the P&L arranged as one columns. You will see there are some values which are in negative, those are our expenses, and in positives, those are our sales. And when you sum everything in this column, you're meant to get your P&L. This is really important concept. Now, let me also show you our dimension tables. We have cost center, just click that. So very simple, just 3 columns, cost center number, description, and cost center groups. And then we have dates, 7 columns in here. And we have date, day, week, month, quarter, etc. We can customize our own date table if we have financial month different from calendar month. For example, as you can see in here, January finishes in February the 7th. That's because for some company, they may have financial month following 5-4-4 format, where in January there are 5 weeks. So it doesn't necessarily end on the 31st of January. So just customize your own table, make it to suit your needs. And then lastly, we have the GL dimensions. Pretty standard looking, 6 column. Again, you can customize it to suit your needs. We have one interesting column in here, which is the GL group order, where I have numbered the GL group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is so that we can use this column for sorting how this GL group get displayed in our table later on. After we have completed the setup of the data model, the next step is to create the relevant DAX measures. To create this P&L report, we need 8 measures. Let's get started with the simple one, 2020 actuals. Use calculate functions, sum the actuals value, which is the P&L, and apply a filter year equal to 2020. Do the same thing for 2021 actuals, just apply a different filter, 2021, and then for 2022, apply a different filter for the year, which is 2022. Once you have done that, then create a last year measures and link it to 2021 actuals, and create a this year measure, link it to 2022 actuals, because we are in 2022 right now. And then after that, create a variance, this year versus last year, which is just the difference this year minus last year. We'll use that for this. And once you have done that, create the percentage variance this year versus last year, which will go into this column later. And we use simple divisions, the variance versus this year versus last year divided by last year, which is this section over here. And then it gets multiplied by a special function in here. And the purpose of doing this is so that any increases in expenses are expressed as a negative, and any reduction in expenses is expressed as a positive. Whereas for sales, any increases in sales is to be expressed as a positive because it's good when sales goes up. And any reduction in sales is to be expressed as a negative because it's bad to have reduction in sales. Once you have done that, the last measure is percentage of sales. And percentage of sales is for this chart over here. And let me just show you the DAX. So to get the DAX, we need to first calculate total sales. Using simple calculate, that will remove the filters for GL, dimension table, and then applying a filter of sales. And then to get profit, we just need to do simple calculate, the sum of values. And the idea is so that whatever GL line that you select, it will show the percentage of sales with that associated GL line. And then after that, to get return on sales or percentage of sales, just use divide function, profit on sales. And when there is nothing, just put 0. Now that we have created all the DAX measures, let's get started with building our reports by creating the various tables and charts. Let's recreate this slicer together. Hit slicer, select month, change it to drop-down list so that it is smaller and doesn't take up space. And put it right on top. Okay, nice. And select 3. Now, in the slicer setting, there is an option to allow select all, turn it on, so that if you want to, you can select all with one click. Okay, first one done. Next, let's recreate this table together. Let's do Ctrl+C, paste it here as examples, and then let's create the table from scratch. Just put it up here. So we have GL group. Pick that, the first column, and then the order, we want that, and then we want this year and last year, the variance, and the percentages. we want this group order so that we can sort them, so that sales is on top, just like that. Yeah, but we don't want to show this, so what we need to do is make it smaller so that they're not visible. Oh, but that looks bad, so turn off the wrapping first of the column header, and then after that you can hide it. Just make that a bit bigger and then hide it. So that's a nice trick. Next, the headings. The headings are not the same, so let's just fix that, make it the same. I'm going to rename this P&L by GL group. See how it's the same now? And then this is this here. Rename to last year. No changes required for the next one, and shorten that to variance percentage. Now the headings are the same. Next, the color. The headings should be in blue, so column headers, change the color to blue and white. Nice. Very similar now, except we have conditional formatting that we need to set in here. So click this table and add conditional formatting to variance this year versus last year. Apply it to the font color. Set it to be based on rows, and we're going to say if the number is greater than minus a billion and less than 0, then color it red, and apply this to values and totals, and voila, all done. Next, let's do that on percentages. So click percentage, conditional formatting, font color, based on rows, and variance based on the field variance percentage. And if the value is greater than billion minus a billion, but less than 0, then make it red again. Hit OK. All done, except, oh, why is that still black? Let's check that. Conditional formatting, font color. Oh, our rules need to be applied not only to values, but values and total. And then hit OK. And now we are done. Now, let's recreate the next two tables, which is by cost center and by GL line. So what we can do is we can copy this and add cost center, description in here, and replace that. And we can delete that, make it bigger. So that's done. And then copy one more time. And take the GL description. And delete the first two because they are not relevant anymore. Just make it a bit wider. Let's make it the same. That's a bit too wide. Just tidy up a little bit. Next, let's rename. And let's delete this table. Let's now recreate the bar chart. Control C, I'm putting it here, Control V as examples, click bar chart. And we need state or cost center group as axis. And then we want the values or the P&L as values. And then make it smaller and put it up here. Next, let's add the data label. Very nice. And then let's make the x-axis title disappear. Yeah, nice. And then let's make the values on the left disappear, as well as that. Nice. Oh, but I don't really like that being overlapping, so we need to fix that shortly. So turn it on temporarily at a maximum of 1 million or 800,000, a minimum of 200. And then still not fixing it, maybe 1 million. Okay, better. Okay, and then turn it up. Nice. First, that looks different. That's because there is a filtering of year and no filtering in here. So let's fix the filter. Let's add the year and select that. Make it the same. This one, make it. And then the title is the title of the chart. Last bit is the conditional formatting of the column, so that when the value is negative, that's in red. So hit visuals, columns, conditional formatting, and we say add rules. When the value of the values of the P&L is greater than minus $1 billion and less than 0, hit OK. And look at that, it looks nice now. Next, let's recreate the waterfall chart together. Control C, Control V as example, and then let's do it from scratch. Click waterfall. What to fill in the category is what you want to see in the first and last bar chart, which is our year. So I'm going to click and drag year to category. What you want to put in the breakdown is what you want to see over here, the breakdown of the various waterfall up and down. And that's basically our cost center. So I'm just going to type cost center, and I'm going to put the cost center description in there. You're not seeing anything yet, that's okay. You will see them once you fill in the values. And what you want to put as the values? The P&L, of course. Now, coincidentally, it's also called value in our data sets. So I'm just going to put and click and drag the value. Now, why are they different? Why is that not the same? Don't panic. See this filter? It says there is a filtering happening year 2021 and 2022. Whereas in here, there is no year filtering, which is why we have two sets of waterfall going down up to 2020. So all we need to do is basically apply the filter and just select 2 years, 2021 and 2020. And look, they're now similar looking. Now, next bit, let's make it the same. So we are going to format the chart. So click the chart and then hit format. And we are going to get rid of the y-axis. That's gone. Plus the title. Yeah, now it's gone. Neat. And then next, we're going to get rid of that year, which is the x-axis. So click the chart first. And then x-axis. Title off. Nice. And then we're going to turn off the legend and then show data level. All right, now it is similar looking. Very nice. Now that we have done that, it should be fairly easy to create year-on-year analysis by GL line, because all we need to do, so if I just copy that as example in here, so that's what we want to recreate, and they are similar. Really, the only difference is that bit. Instead of cost center, we want GL line, and that's basically the breakdown. So the breakdown in here, I'm going to get rid of cost center description, and I'm going to put in GL line, GL description. Let's update the title as well so that it's the same. So just hit title, general, value. We're going to type year-on-year analysis by GL line. And in here, let's update that title, year-on-year analysis by cost center. And then we can delete both. Let's just make it more evenly spread out. Okay. All right. The last thing that we're going to do is to recreate this trend chart. Okay, so just hit line chart, and then we're going to add the values and add it into value. So that's our P&L. And then we are going to add year, which is the legend. And then in the axis, we are going to put month. And we are almost done. However, because of our filtering, that look funny. So what we need to do is we need to reset this interaction so that regardless of the filtering, our chart still look like this. But before that, let's just tidy up the month. I want to see every single month. So what I need to do is basically just format the x-axis so that it is categorical. And then let's just sort it properly based on month. Oh, that's wrong sorting. Okay, now I don't want to see the word month there, so we are going to get rid of the title. Same with y-axis. I just don't want to see the y-axis title of values because this is just meant to be our sales. So let's just check that. This is sales by month. Now, for it to become sales by month, I need to filter the GL group to show sales. And that's what I need to do in here. Because if I don't filter anything, what I'm going to get is pretty much the P&L. So how do we do that? We just need to add GL group and add that into here. And we're going to add sales in the filter. And we're going to lock this so that nobody else can change the filtering. And then we are going to rename the chart sales. Nice. So we have sales by month and year all done. Now, but we need to fix this so that when we select month 3, it doesn't become a dot like that. And how we do that is by fixing the interaction. So hit format, edit interaction. So first click the month and then make sure that there is no filtering happening by clicking none. And then we are done. So now you can change the month to however that we want it. And everything else is changing except that line charts. So we're happy with that. We have sales by month and we want to copy this and create a P&L by month by clearing the filter. That will become P&L by month. And we just need to change the title. Nice. And let's just check one more time. Filtering. Oh, sorry. let's do the same thing. We need to edit interaction, click the month, step 1, hit edit interaction, and then just turn off filtering. And then check. 1, 2. Wonderful. Okay, now lastly is the percentage of sales by month and year. So again, just copy, Control C, Control V, put it down there, and search for percentage of sales, found it, replace the value, and edit the title. And then check the interaction, not yet set up, so go to format, edit interaction, oops, one more time, click the month first and then turn off the interaction. Now check that. Okay, everything is changing except the line charts. So now we are happy. We can click that one more time so that filtering icon does not appear. Last bit, let's check the interaction. Now, I don't really like that. This is about personal preference. My preference is to set it up so that it's filtered like this. So if I'm selecting over time, that's showing the negative. But that looks really tiny as well. So I'm going to reset the values of the y-axis. So I'm going to reset it back to auto. And then hide it again so that it is just clearer and auto adjusting. So I'm happy with that. Now let's check this. Again, I don't really like that. Some people like to show it kind of like what is called cost as a percentage of total. If you like it, you can leave it. If not, you can edit interaction and change it so that it just shows one. I think the previous one was probably better. So let's just change it back to highlight for that. Okay, and then that's that. And then let's just check this. Okay, I don't like that. I prefer filtering. And then lastly, let's just fix the order of this. Make that a bit bigger. Okay. And we are done. So we are now pretty much done. If you want to, you can copy the lines to create some sort of neat divisional areas between one section and another section. If you have spare time and you want to put some finishing touches, you can change the color into something more unique. Go to View and pick your color. You can pick something like this, or maybe something like this, whichever you prefer. Let's go with black. And congratulations! You have reached the end of this video and have learned to set up the data model, create new DAX measures, as well as build a new P&L report in Power BI from scratch. I hope you have enjoyed this video and have learned something useful, and see you next time!